Good morning, students. This is my lecture number 3 for chapter number 3 Ranga's Marriage for class 11th subject English. This chapter number 3 Ranga's Marriage is taken from your supplementary book Snapshots. In first two lectures of the same chapter, I taught you about Ranga and his views about his marriage and how was he convinced by the narrator to get married to the girl who was actually not added in his thoughts about his own marriage. In this lecture number 3, we will recapitulate what we studied in lecture number 1 as well as in lecture number 2, and then we will proceed further towards the question answers of this chapter given in your supplementary book. So let's begin the chapter with its recapitulation. The story is about Ranga, who is very close and dear to the narrator. They live in a village called Hosahalli in Mysore, and not many people know of it, and the narrator does not blame them because there is no trace of it in the geography books. And he refers to the people as sheep who blindly follow each other and do not use their logic or brain to justify or invent things. Here he is talking about the people of village Hosahalli. At last he feels the cartographer is also not to be held responsible. As a result, there is no trace of their village on the map. Then the narrator tells the readers about their special mango trees in the village, whose mangoes are famous for their special quality and the sourness. The narrator asks the readers to take a bite and assures that the sourness of the mango will be felt by them till the top of their head. Not only the mangoes, everything in and around this village is remarkable. The creeper growing in the pond and its flowers are also very special. One can even serve an afternoon meal on its leaves. The narrator then explains the era when not many people knew or spoke English. Neither did people send their children to big cities like Bangalore to study. Back then, only the village accountant had the courage to send his son to Bangalore who knew how to speak in English. However, 10 years ago, English was not commonly spoken in that village, and when the villagers came to know that Ranga, the son of accountant, was coming home from Bangalore, everyone got excited and rushed to his home to have a glance at him. Ranga came outside with a smile on his face. Everyone was so amazed to see that Ranga had not changed a bit after he left 6 months ago. An old lady even went to the extent of running her hands through his chest to check whether he was wearing his sacred thread, that Janevara, or not. However, she went away after confirming that he had not forgotten about his caste, and so did the villagers. Then the narrator waited till the crowd cleared and asked Ranga about his well-being. Ranga noticed him and replied with full respect in a traditional way. Ranga was well behaved and was one of those who could analyze someone's worth rightfully. He bent low and touched the narrator's feet, thereby seeking his blessings. It was not the present day namaskara where children would do it casually. It was a proper traditional one. Thinking of how nice Ranga is, the author thought it would be a good deed to have him married to a girl just as nice as him. They chatted for a while, and then the narrator asked Ranga about his views on getting married. Ranga expressed that he did not intend to marry now because he intended on finding the right girl for himself. Whereas, suppose the narrator found a girl who was very young, she could misunderstand his words and actions because she was not mature enough. He mentioned the love story of Shakuntala and Dushyanta from Mahabharata, and that he would not have fallen in love with Shakuntala if she were too young. In that case, Kalidasa's play also would have not existed. That is why Ranga intended on staying a bachelor till he found the right girl for himself. The narrator introduced another character named Ratna, who was 11 years old and was Rama Rao's niece. She had lost both her parents, so her uncle Rama Rao brought her from the big town to his home with him. She had a great voice and could play harmonium and veena. The narrator thought that Ranga and Ratna would make a great pair. And Ratna was quite familiar with the narrator as he visited Rama Rao's place frequently. The narrator thought of a plan to introduce Ratna to Ranga. He asked Rama Rao to send Ratna to his place as he wanted to send some buttermilk for them. She came all dressed up. The narrator that time insisted upon her to sing a song of Krishnamurti while he sent someone to call Ranga. Just as she was singing, Ranga arrived at the doorstep of the narrator, and her melodious voice touched his ears, and thus he did not want to interrupt the singing, so he stood at the door only. He was curious to see the face of the singer, and very cautiously he tried to have a look which disturbed the lighting of the room. On seeing a stranger, Ratna immediately stopped her singing. Now, the second half of the chapter begins, in which the narrator compared Ranga's situation to the disappointment of dropping a best quality mango on the floor just before having to truly enjoy it. Ranga asked the narrator why he called for him. Ratna was shy and thus looked downward, whereas Ranga stealthily glanced at her. There was an awkward silence in the room. Ranga said that he felt it was his coming that stopped the singing, so he must leave. However, he didn't. The narrator made fun of him because he had no intention of leaving the house, but it was just the words that he was speaking to go out. He joked about it and said one could not expect actions and words to match in this Kali Yuga. Ranga finally asked the narrator about the girl. The narrator replied very cleverly and intended on seeing Ranga's interest in knowing about the girl named Ratna present at his home. Thus he said that who she was is one of that much importance because he was already married and Ranga did not intend on marrying any time soon. Full of hope, he asked if she wasn't married yet, to which the narrator replied that she was, probably a year ago. Ranga was disappointed and disheartened, went away quoting some work. The narrator, having staged certain likings in the mind of Ranga for Ratna, went on to complete his play. He went to the village and he caught the Shastri and told him everything that he had to be said and done. Then he met Ranga that afternoon and he carried the same disappointment on his face. As Ranga told about his headache, the narrator told him that they should go to see a doctor. The narrator very wittily made a remark that he went through the same feelings when he was seeing girls for himself and immediately mentioned that it could not be the reason for Ranga. Furthermore, he suggested that they went to see Shastri to see if the stars of Ranga were in favor of him or not. So Ranga agreed and went with the narrator to see the Shastri. On seeing Shastri ji, he implied not having seen the narrator in a long while, which was obviously not true, as they had met before the same morning. Here, the narrator revealed his pet name. He told his readers that his pet name was Shyama, as he was called Shyama by the people of his village. The narrator asked the Shastri to take out all his tools to help solve whatever was going on in Ranga's mind with full authority. Shastri started moving his lips while counting quickly and asked Ranga about his star, which Ranga did not know. He appeared to be doing certain calculations. After a moment, he indicated that Ranga had a girl on his mind. The narrator posed the question to Shastri, asking about the details of the girl. Because The narrator already knew what was actually happening because it was the narrator only who tutored Shastri to say whatever he was saying when he was confronting Ranga. So Shastri thought and replied that the girl was likely to have a name of something found in the ocean. Their guesses included Kamla, Panchi, Moss, Pearl, and then suddenly Shastri said Ratna. All of it came together now to a girl named Ratna who was the niece of Ramarao. That's it. Ranga was thinking about her only. Ranga was both surprised and happy because Shastri's predictions were right. He immediately became disappointed when he recalled that she was married. Both of them left from there and then crossed Ramarao's house. And the narrator decided to go and see Ratna for a minute, and after meeting Ratna at Ramarao's house, when the narrator came back, he announced that fortunately Ratna was not married and someone might have wrongly conveyed it to him. The narrator expressed his amazement at the fact that he had been thinking about Ratna and asked him to swear upon the truth. To his surprise, Ranga told him the truth that whatever Shastri said was true. His belief in all the Shastras had strengthened. After 10 years, Ranga and Ratna came to see the narrator because now they were leading a happy married life and they had a 3-year-old son with them, and Ratna was 8 months pregnant. They invited the narrator for dinner at their house on the occasion of their son Shyama's birthday. Yes, the couple of Ranga and Ratna named their son after the narrator, as it was very common foreign tradition to name their child after someone they truly admire. When the narrator went there for dinner, Shyama, the son of Ranga, came running to the narrator only to show his love by holding his leg. The narrator kissed him and gave him a ring. So, children, in such a way, here the chapter completes, that is Ranga's marriage, in which the narrator has told first of all about his village Hosahali and the special features of his village. Then he told about the importance of knowing English years back. Then he told about Ranga, his views about marriage, and finally how he got him married with an immature girl of 11 years. Though the couple was very happy, they were very satisfied with each other and they were leading a happy married life. So this is the end of the story. Now we will proceed towards the question answers. Now let's begin with reading with insight. Question number 1. Question number 1 is, comment on the influence of English, the language and the way of life, on Indian life as reflected in the story. What is the narrator's attitude to English? So the answer to this question would be, the story talks about the influence English language had decades ago in his village. Not many people in the village at that time could understand or talk in English. Only a few courageous people would send their children to study in cities, like the village accountant sent his only son Ranga to Bangalore. When Ranga came back to the village, everyone was very keen on knowing or seeing how their culture had transformed him. As far as the cultural influence is concerned, the story mentions how Ranga wanted to marry a girl who was mature, someone who understands him and is compatible with him. This is completely in opposition to the arranged marriages that were widely prevalent in those times. The narrator finds it disgraceful when people mix Kannada language with English. He recounts how one day a lady delivered firewood to Ramarao's place and he told her to come the next morning because he had no change. The lady did not know what change meant and left while muttering to herself. The narrator confesses that he too did not know what it meant until he asked Rama Rao. So, this is what the narrator has told about the influence of English language in the story and what his attitude was towards English. Now, we will proceed to question number 2. Question number 2 says, astrologers' perceptions are based more on hearsay and conjecture than what they learn from the study of the stars. Comment with the reference to the story. Children, this question is based on Shastri, as he was tutored by the narrator to convince Ranga that the disturbance in his mind was caused due to the girl named Ratna. So, what was Shastri tutored to say in front of Ranga had brought a great impact or a change in Ranga's mind, and Ranga confessed yes, the problem was due to the girl named Ratna. So, the answer to this question would be the story of Ranga's marriage throws light upon how Shastri predicted what was going on in Ranga's mind. He did it using 2 sheets of paper, some kauris, and a book of palmyra leaves in the form of his paraphernalia. Paraphernalia means the essential things that he needed to count or calculate or used his statistics in order to predict Ranga's future or the cause of his trouble. He even revealed that Ranga had some girl on his mind whose name related to something that belonged to the ocean, and he told about many names of the things which are found in ocean. All this made Ranga believe in the power of his astrology, while in reality it was our narrator Shyama who had actually tutored Shastri to say so in a meeting prior to the one with Ranga. Shastri made it seem like no big deal when Ranga left and Shyama called it his marvelous Shastra. So he said he could have guessed it with his numbers even if Shyama had not staged it for him. Hence, the story portrays astrologers' perceptions are based more on hearsay and conjecture than what they learn from the stars. So these are the only talks that convince us because the people talk after reading the state of our mind and take us to the world where we actually want to travel to. Therefore, we people start believing in their astrology and we start believing in the Shastras. Let us move to question number 3. Question number 3 is, Indian society has moved a long way from the way the marriage is arranged in this story. Discuss. Children, it's true that Indian society has moved a long way from the way the marriage is arranged in this story. Earlier, there was no concept of love marriage and only arranged marriages took place, like the one being talked about in this story of Ranga's marriage. Ranga's marriage was also arranged by his uncle Shyama, who was the narrator of the chapter. In present times, the bride and the groom have a say in the matter, unlike decades ago, where even their consent was not considered important. Our society has come a long way since then, especially when it comes to the rights of females. Earlier, the bride's families were pressurized into paying dowry, which has been illegalized now. It's also against the law to marry individuals who have not yet attained a specific age, 18 in case of girls and 21 in case of boys. So now our Indian society has moved a long way from the way the marriage is arranged in this story. Now we are living in 21st century where children after 18 and 21 are considered adults and they are given the right to choose their life partner, not even by their family members but by the law of our Indian society. Now we will discuss the last question, that is question number 4. And this question plays an important role because this question asks about the narrator who has told you the entire story of Ranga's marriage. What kind of a person do you think the narrator is? So, after studying the whole chapter from the book and after studying the lectures I have given you of this chapter, you would have come to know that the narrator is a unique man. He is a man of his land, as he introduces his village with such enthusiasm that every reader would want to visit it at least once. His hospitality can also be appreciated as he promises to take good care of his readers. He is someone who believes in maintaining the authenticity of his culture. That is why he thinks it's a disgrace to mix Kannada with English. He is a man with good judgment of character. He knew what type of man Ranga was and that Ramarao's niece Ratna would be a perfect partner for him. Shama seemed like someone who knew how to make his own way. The whole setup he staged with the village Shastri in order to get Ranga and Ratna married pose as evidence for that. He is only funny by way of which he teased the village Shastri. Although clever, he seems to be a man with best intentions at heart. So, this is what we think about the narrator after reading the whole chapter of Ranga's marriage. So, here your chapter completes with its recapitulation and all the textual question answers given there in your book. Children, you have to learn and write all these discussed question answers of lesson 3 Ranga's marriage from your book snapshots in your Fair English notebooks and send me the homework on my email ID. I'll be waiting for your homework and I hope you people have enjoyed it. Have a nice day. Thank you very much.